Oh yeah, lounge music. Gotta love that smoky lounge music.
Hello. I think I'm gonna sit on another pillow here.
Hi everybody, welcome to the second episode of the Trisbrina Show. We are officially live in the correct place.
Woohoo! Boy, do we have a story to tell you.
Oh, which one?
So,
Where do you want to start?
We are on the road.
It's
actually one of the things we're going to talk about today is dealing with what life, the hand you're given in that moment, even when you were expecting something else, right?
Amen to that. It happens all the time. You know what we're talking about. Sure, babe. So welcome everybody, come on in. We know that folks are probably just figuring out where we are, as there was another placeholder. We're learning some new things about technology. Always,
yes, we are.
Always learning, trying to create, I guess, more flow. And you've got to be able to flow even when things aren't flowing. That's a common saying around here at Satori Method. And we had this big plan to help everybody find us in this more effective, easy way. And well, it just didn't pan out like we had hoped.
Well, what's really exciting is we found out that you can pre-schedule your Facebook Lives, and what that means is that if we can pre-schedule the show, then we can have the exact link to email out so that when you get a reminder, Facebook would remind you and you can see it.
Yeah.
And all of that
seemed like a good idea.
Went really well, but then juggling on the road, traveling a laptop with the phone. I think we actually did a little bit of a show in a different place.
We have a group that we use just for us, where we test our tech, and so we actually went live in there. So you missed the whole beginning, but we're going to repeat.
I think we went live in our Life Force Mastery Dojo.
Sort of.
Anyway, I'm just I'm going to put the link to where we are
Part of the
right
course,
now.
friends. So let me tell you what's going on today. So Sabrina and I, we're on the road. We're in Atlanta. Welcome to our hotel room. And we're at a wonderful mastermind that's all about how to grow your reach, your influence, so that you can serve your people more. And that's really our mission. You know, back in the day, the mission, the deal with the divine was, let's help people with life transformations, especially around healing and pain, mental, physical, right? The emotional sticking points. But let's not get stuck in just talking about pain. Let's get to the other side of that. Let's get to the freedom. Let's get to the connection. Let's get to the health and the vitality in the body, that beautiful clarity and presence that we all can have in the mind level, and also the spiritual connection. So that's really what Satori has been about since its inception. And along the way, we've learned that in order to help people, you've got to go online. You don't have to, but we choose to. Hi there, Sabrina, liking us.
No, that's Rita.
Oh, and I saw you.
Oh.
Anyway, you go online and you find ways to connect, right, with your people, your community, your family. Yeah. And in doing so, we're constantly attending high-level masterminds that teach us, you know, how to expand our reach, how to get better at some of this technical stuff. Mm-hmm. And then we share with those of you who are also coaches and teachers and healers, so you can get your work out into the world more as well. So this is really a place for everyone. Hello, Claudine, lovely to see you. There's an amazing coach checking in.
I feel like we're playing hide and go seek, and like we're hiding in the corner of a hotel room and we're waiting to see who comes and finds us.
Yeah, and a bunch of folks are over on the other post right now, like waiting for us, and we're sorry about that. We've got our team trying to help you all get over here. So
it's okay.
If you're watching the replay, sorry for that.
People understand.
It happens. It happens. Anyway, so here's what's going down today. Today's episode is really, and I want to read it right off the sheet here because I thought, you know, as we were talking about this, Sabrina and I, this is something that we've had to really step into, showing up fully.
Yeah.
Right? Just like really being authentically who you are. And I guess that almost sounds cliche, but we're talking about no matter what the circumstances in life are.
Yeah.
Right? And we have a moment like that happening right now.
But, and it's not a coincidence. This is a gift. It's a gift for us to walk the talk.
Hi, George. And the second part of that is not only showing up fully, but really listening to that guidance that we could say life is giving you, because it's your soul reflecting back to you at all times. What's the next step? Mm-hmm. What should you be leaning into more? What are we listening to here? And the only way that I have found that I can navigate my life clearly is by going inside and listening to that big, beautiful, powerful soul guidance. So we're going to talk about those things. Cool? Awesome.
Very cool. So, yeah, listening to sometimes, that inspiration, you feel like, I should do this, or I want to do that, right? Some kind of, it might just feel like a thought, and a thought that feels really good. And for me, when I have a thought that feels really good, I feel like that's an inspired thought.
Right.
And then I got this logic or old patterns and opinions based on what's happened in the past start coming in. Like, it's Thursday. We had said, hey, we're going to do the Trisbrina show on Thursday. And we're like, oh, but we can't because we're traveling for business. And I'm like, well, what if we do it at lunchtime on the break? Oh, we don't have a place to do it. Well, what if we just do it in our hotel? Well, we don't have any lights with us. Well, what if we sit in front of a window, right? And just really taking actions to listen to all those limiting thoughts that are very logical and saying, well, why not this? Why not this? Why not this? Almost coaching ourselves. And will it look as good? As good as what?
Right.
Yeah? Or right. Or who is this thing, who is this person that we're all trying to be so perfect for? Who is this person that we care about their opinion? Or, I'm not going to wear, people say, I'm not going to wear those pants. They're not flattering to me. Now, is that you don't feel beautiful in them, or you think somebody else is going to think they're not flattering? Like, who are these people? Who are these people that we're all trying to please and whose opinion we care about, right? It's nobody. It's just the voices in our heads.
Just so you know, because these are live, we're here live with you. So sometimes Sabrina's looking at her laptop or I'm looking at mine. And while we get the benefit of being able to play off of each other, right, which is the cool thing about this Trisbrina effect, is I can connect with some of you and we're liking and loving, and we see you here, Carol and George and Ingrid and all of our friends. Thank you for signing in for this experience, and we're getting a lot of love here. And we love doing the programs. Thanks for saying that, Carol.
Yeah. If you could see us right now, we're sharing a chair.
Yes.
My laptop is on our computer, our luggage, our upright luggage, and Tristan's is in the windowsill.
And we found a location that has some nice lighting coming in, and we brought out a little selfie stick, and that's really a perfect segue to, no matter what the circumstances are, still show up. So we were saying, we're going to have to cancel the show this week because we'll be traveling. We'll be at that mastermind. How are we going to make it happen? Blah, blah, blah. And that's, for us, just not an exception anymore. There are ways to make it happen. You just have to be creative and be flexible with life. And even the little faux pas in the beginning today, that could shut people down, right? They could lose their flow. They wouldn't show up fully on their live session. Hi, Debbie. And that's because of losing the connection, I think, to that part of you that is like, I'm doing this no matter what. And I guess that brings me, Claudine, that brings me to mission. There's a reason for this. There's a reason for the Trisbrina show. There's a reason for the work that you're doing in the world. There's a reason every single day to show up and be fully you. Nobody else can be us, right? So we got to step into that. And I thought long and hard after meditation this morning, like, what do I really want to share about showing up fully? And I had to think of the times in my life when I wasn't showing up fully and what caused me to shrink. Parts of it for us in some places along the way have been, like I had said on the other show that got broadcast in the wrong place, don't be too full of yourself. Hi, Jenny. Don't be so big, like you should be more humble. We played that game for a long time. Not that anything, being humble is beautiful and important, but like the idea that, I just think of a flower. Yeah. I think of the beauty of a flower that's just blooming, right? And it's so gorgeous. And it's not holding back. God created that flower in its perfect order. Yeah. And so that flower blooms full on. And there's a blooming in you, and there's a blooming in you, and there's a blooming in me that can be full on. And so why shun that or shroud that in any way? Why not fully bloom? So then the question for me becomes, what does a full bloom look like? Yeah. And what does a full bloom feel like? Well, I know it doesn't feel contractive. I know it doesn't feel small. I know it doesn't feel like my voice is muted. I know it doesn't feel like sitting in the back. It feels more like being here, present with you, sharing absolutely just from my heart with my best friend in the whole world, with all of my friends that are here. I'm not sitting here worrying about what anyone is going to think of us or what they're going to say. Not my tribe, you know? Not my circus, not my monkeys. When people start judging us, and that also pushes us down, makes us feel small, that's this idea in our head that we have to be a certain way, a certain bloom, for people that are like, well, I just don't like sunflowers. I don't like roses. Great, go over there. Hopefully
Go to a different garden.
enjoy some daffodils.
Yeah.
Enjoy some weeds if you prefer. Whatever, but I'm going to be me full on.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to bring today.
Yeah.
You know?
And you know, a lot of us that are in the tribe really love the healing arts and meditation. And when you're fully being you, that is the environment of healing. Because when you're fully being you, to me, I'm loving and accepting all parts of myself, right? I'm not worried about what other people think, because when I'm fully being me, there's so much love going out. It's not self-conscious. I'll tell you a little story about that. One time I was in a class and people were going around the room sharing their experiences of meditation. And I had shared privately with the teacher these beautiful experiences that I was having, and I was sort of new to the class. This was like decades and AIDS ago. And afterwards, the instructor called me up and he said, "How come when everyone was going around the room sharing their experiences, you didn't say anything, and you had just shared such a beautiful thing with me?" And thank you for all the
love
heart
bombs. Showers are coming through.
I really appreciate those.
Thanks, Claudine. Thank you, Martin.
And so I said, yeah, I just didn't want to share because I felt like I was new to the class and that the other students might not like it if I was already having a beautiful experience. And the instructor goes, "Oh, isn't that egotistical and conceited?" I'm like, "No, it's not." Like,
being humble.
I'm being humble. I'm not saying how amazing my meditation was.
Right.
And so putting that spin on, I'm like, "Well, what do you mean?" And he said, "Well, you're claiming that it's you.
Right.
You're claiming I am having this experience and I am a wonderful meditator."
Yes.
And the fact that you're not sharing and inspiring others to know the possibility. He said the most humble thing to do is to know that I'm just a teammate with Source. I am part of the creative process, and whatever comes through me is I'm just allowing Source to use me to create. And it's not I am meditating. It's that I experience the beauty and love of God. I experience such gratitude.
Totally.
It's the gratitude that is beautiful. It's the experience that's beautiful. And that moment really changed my life with all that false humility and holding back. Because now I know, like, even if I say, "Oh my gosh, I've got a great idea. I know what we can do." In that same thought with me now is, if I was receptive to the brilliance that is, to God's energy, however you like to call it, and that creative thought isn't just my thought, it's consciousness's thought. It just gets to come out of my mouth, right? And when you have that, it feels so fun because everything can become inspired thought, inspired action, and there's not a claiming in that.
I remember seeing a PBS show with Wayne Dyer, and he had just spent like a year reading the Tao Te Ching, and he was basically writing his translation and his insights and take on this beautiful masterpiece and the teachings. And he was in a time and a phase in his life when he was getting rid of like all of his awards and all these things that were defining him in this worldly way, and he was really moving into his spiritual meditation practice and reading books like this and taking long walks on the beach in Hawaii and really getting tapped into Source. And they put this beautiful program together PBS had him come on, and he's doing, maybe you guys saw this program. They had this beautiful, he walked on this stage that had a big yin and yang on it, and he was in bare feet, and he was just in flow and teaching. And he said before he went out to do the presentation, backstage, the mind, the egoic principle that wants to shrink, make us small, came in and said, who do you think you are, back to that, to go out there and do a discourse, you know, on Lao Tzu's teachings and the Tao? And he had a moment where he had to really check in, and he's like, just use me. Just use me. Let me get out of the way. It's that co-creation that you're talking about. You don't have to claim it, although there's nothing wrong with claiming the flower and the blossom that you are, because if you know yourself as soul, then you had the upgrade. Mm-hmm. That's awakening. That's Satori. You understand and remember who you are. I am flower. Yeah. I'm not small. I'm not this little voice in my head that says, don't be too big. Don't be careful. What about the imposter syndrome? You're not really this, you know, beautiful thing. And so he said, use me. And I thought, that's such a great teaching. And I have used that so many times before speaking, going on stage to deliver. That mind that comes in and makes you want to hold back. Get out of the way. Use me. Become a co-creator. It's so beautiful.
Yeah. Another really cool part of that is, so if I'm afraid that people are going to think, oh, who does she think she is? Isn't she full of herself?
I know who she is.
If I'm afraid that people are going to say that, then I'll pause and say, where do I think that of others? Right? Good. Because usually it's connected. And I remembered, because I really don't think that anymore. Right? I really just think I want to be as full of myself as I can be. I want to allow creative juices to pour out of me 100%. I just want to serve, because I experience such joy when I allow that. But I remember when I was in a ballet company, you know, there was a lot of comparison. You know, I wanted to be the thinnest, the most flexible. I wanted to get the part over the other girl. And then, you know, as I got older, it was all about, you know, I wanted to be as pretty as the other person, or feeling insecure if someone was making more money than me, or if someone had a really nice house, instead of my first thought being, like yesterday we went to a really good friend of ours home, and it's so set up perfectly for what we love. Yeah. There wasn't a part of me thinking, oh, who does she think she is, having a space to hold workshops in
I wish I had
in
that.
her home? I did, but I celebrated. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy that you have this thing. Now I know it exists.
It's possible.
It's totally perfect. It's on 3 acres in the woods, and just the whole layout. Now I have that as a possibility, and the way that the blueprint of it, I have this enthusiasm of support for her having it, and seeing someone else have it means I can have it. So that's really what changed in me. Instead of seeing somebody else with something and comparison, now I see someone else with something and think, potential. That's my potential. That's me.
That's so beautiful. And of course, there's going to be those that want to cast judgment. In fact, when we started teaching and getting out there, and you know, what's so interesting with what comes through in these sessions is, we know that many of you are here because you love the energy arts. You love life force. You love leaning into higher states of consciousness. You're looking to upgrade the health and vitality of your body. Well, we love all of that, and that's our life. And we also love helping those of you who are going through things like us, teaching more, coaching more, stepping out and leading and being that calling that you know is showing up, and it's telling you, it's driving you, it's encouraging, it's nudging, and we want to participate in that with you so that you can go into the full blossom, whether that's in your business practice or however it shows up. But when we started Satori and started going out there more, we would get email correspondence, right? Because we're building something called a list and I don't even like that word list. Like, we have so changed the way we think about all this marketing stuff. To us, it's not a list, it's our friends. You're our friends, you're our extended family. And so every now and then someone comes in to the conversation and they might throw a rock, right? You're gonna have that happen, whether it's in business or life. People will cast judgment.
Yeah.
Now, we would take it personally at first, right? But don't you know who we are? Like, you're just about making money. That's not true. But if we didn't have business practices in place, you wouldn't have any of the free stuff, okay? So we need to be able to run the business professionally and properly. So we would get certain comments about everything should be free, right? Like, well, that's just silly. Yeah. And then maybe who do you think you are comments. Sometimes we get a little bit of that.
Or why do you use Facebook? Right?
Oh yeah, we've had that one.
Well, we could have a network TV show. You rig that up for us and we'll be right there.
Hook that right up and we'll be right over. So whatever, right? People throwing their stones. And then if you get enough of the same one coming your direction, probably you should take a look and see, why am I calling
Why
this
am I
in?
being perceived in that way?
Yeah, it's something to do with the way I'm showing up. Now, if you're just down with the way you're showing up and it's just you're polarizing, okay, and those people will move on because you can unattract as well. You know that, right? So, but for me, it was my reactions. And you all know this one. It's called defensiveness. It's part of the ego system. By the way, just to clarify, the word ego means sense of self. So when we use the word ego, we're just talking about when you take it too far in one direction or the other, right? But my reaction was wanting to defend myself and explain, well, no, that's not really what's happening, blah, blah, blah. And it reminds me of a story.
Once upon a time.
Once upon a time, when I was a younger man, I was with one of my martial art teachers, and he took me and my friend Shen out to get yogurt. And we lived in Malibu, California, and so we were going to get this healthy yogurt snack. And right next to the yogurt parlor was an ice cream parlor. What do you know? And somebody came out of the ice cream
it's
parlor.
It's a yogurt shop and an
It
ice
felt like
cream parlor.
Oh, did I mix it up? Okay.
No.
Whatever. They had yogurt and ice cream. So this person walked out. Now you have to remember, I'm like, I don't know, maybe 19, 18, with all the judgments that come along at that age level. But this was a lesson. It was really juicy for me.
Cool.
Trying to be cool, thinking I'm all that. So that's the other side, right? When you do think you're all that.
Hi, Nikki.
Fit, trim, exercise, workout, blah, blah, blah. And a person came out of the ice cream shop. And they had like the 3 scoops.
As you do.
As you do. Which I don't, I would probably eat that too now, but I would try to make sure it had 0 calories. And my judging mind came in because this person was in a larger body than mine, right? Much larger. And so all this judgment, and I verbalized it. Wow, can you believe that? They shouldn't be eating that.
You said that to your friend?
To the sensei.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, I just verbalized it. I was trying to be cool, right?
Yeah. Because
and
yeah.
He nailed me.
Good.
He nailed me. I judged the person. I said they were fat out loud, not in their earshot. He said, "You're fat." I'm like, "Oh, no, I'm not." He said, "You have a fat mind." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Everything you just said was from you. It was your definition. You made that up, and you projected that on that person.
Yep.
You cast that on them. But that's your identity. That's your definition. That's how you're projecting onto the world." It was the first time I'd ever heard about projection. And I was so grateful that he taught me that. It really hit me hard. I was like, wow, yeah, I guess I'm really being judgmental right now. And that's all in my head.
Well, you were so hard on yourself.
I was.
That you
Judged
thought
others.
it was great to be hard on others. Nothing was ever enough. You couldn't be perfect enough.
But here's the turnaround. Now, when other people might throw something in your direction, you just now know it has nothing to do with you. It's completely their definition. It's in their head. They made it up, and they threw it. They cast the stone.
Yeah.
And so if a stone ever comes, I'm like, it wasn't meant for me. And it usually rebounds, and what does it do? It ends up hurting them more than it hurts
The only
you.
time, like a stone, like it's something hard, it's real. right? The only time that something could feel like a stone for me is if I believe it to be true.
Right.
Right? So if somebody says to me, you know, your hair is really long, like I believe that.
And you're okay with that definition.
Yeah. Now if somebody said to me, your hair is so short, I don't believe that.
Or
so
thin,
I would
or
yeah,
fake.
so it's only when someone says something to me that I am already afraid might be true.
Sure.
Like,
that's going to hook you.
I always feel like I am not productive enough. I'm very productive. But if someone said to me, like, you know, you could really schedule your day to be a lot more productive, I think there's a part of you that's really lazy. That would feel like a stone because I have that judgment of myself. Totally. So when somebody says something and you're saying, that really hurt my feelings, I would suggest that you just pause for a moment and say, do I think that what they said might have some truth in it? Not that it was cool that they said it, right? Maybe, may not be. But if that is true, if I do really think that is a true observation and it hurt my feelings, maybe that was a little bird singing in my ear telling me, hey, you could take a look at this. You could actually let go of it. Because it's only the shame and embarrassment about something to me that really makes it the glue that sticks, is anything that I feel shame, embarrassed, not enough, self-judgment, that's what keeps you from letting it go. That's the glue, right? Everything is just a habit. Like maybe you do not enough of this or too much of that, but it's just action. It doesn't have any stickiness to it until I put the thought on it that it's bad.
All of that.
Yeah.
Now when things come our way, and you know what's so interesting is I probably don't even think like this so much anymore, but at first I had to. And the reason I'm sharing my little yogurt story today is because I think the concern of being judged is what's held some of us back from being total, from fully showing up, from being who we are, because we're concerned that we'll be judged.
Yeah.
And so when you know how to handle judgment and see it for what it is, then you don't have to be afraid of it anymore. And then like what Sabrina just said, you know, to really know that there may be something for us to look at. Well, I want to see. And however life needs to bring that to us, right? Like it might come in the form of a message that seemed a little harsh. It might come as just a wake-up call that life delivers, because it's very good at that. An insight that you just start seeing about yourself. But I welcome it now more because I want to use it to evolve my consciousness. If someone can point something out in me that can help me grow, why wouldn't we want to know, right? Like,
yeah.
If your friend has got a piece of something in their tooth, you're going to tell them, right?
Yeah, that's a true friend. They tell you when there's stuff in your teeth
thing
or hanging out of your nose.
Don't you want to know? I want to know.
Or if your breath smells bad. Those are the three signs of a true friend. Four signs of a true friend. You heard it here.
You're smelly.
You heard it here today. It's like, hey, your breath, or woo, did you wear
man?
that shirt yesterday? Or green, or
you want to know, right?
That's a real friend.
So you can clean it up. So how about just shifting into welcoming the lessons and the insights and the expansion? My purpose in my life is I want to awaken fully to love. And in order to get to full love, unconditional love, I got to get through some of the other stuff that is a filter.
And then so we're talking about like a friend actually having an insight and saying something to generally help you, right? And then there is the stranger that says something and they don't even know that they're saying something that could help you. And then there's just the person that says their own crap that has nothing to do with you at all. Yeah. And you can just boing, just know,
boing.
Just like
let it bounce.
Love and light, my friend.
Your circus, your monkey.
Your circus, your monkey. I'm not visiting that zoo.
Don't hook in. Don't hook in. It's like sometimes it's a drive-by, right? It's not even scheduled to be delivered to your house, but you run out and you grab it. Hey, that mail's for me. No, it wasn't. It wasn't even for you.
They delivered the package to the wrong person.
Let it go.
Yeah.
Let it flow. Like, don't inject yourself into a situation and get smacked and go, why? Because you went and stood in front of the punch. You know, like, just chill. Be a little more zen, right? Sometimes you see something coming, it's like, I'm just going to watch. I'm just going to notice. Oh, look, it just went right by. Guess that wasn't for me, right? And that's a real thing. That's a real thing.
Yeah. You know, I just wanted to interject because I just thought about this. The same is true for really beautiful things, right? Friend says something about you that's really beautiful. Wow, I've never seen that about myself. Like, acknowledged it. We were just at a mastermind meeting before we came up here, and one of the women said, you know, last night when you were at my house and you were showing me, wow, you could do a live stream from here and you could do a live stream from here, and this makes a good set. She had the whole back wall of her home was glass with trees, and I'm like, light source. It was just all I could think of was,
so good as
you
that.
could make so many programs here. And she acknowledged, she said, that never occurred to me. Like, no one else has come in my home and showed me where to film my videos, because that's what she does. She's an online marketer. And she said, it's so just a part of who you are. It's common sense to you, and you share that. You don't even realize that you're an expert at it. And I really loved that she said that to me, because I would never have even remembered saying that. And now I can remember that about myself, that other people aren't seeing that. And when I'm with someone who wants me to look at their space or tell them how to look good on camera or how to find a light source, I will, because now I know it is a gift and I should share it more.
You've been putting on shows since you were a little girl.
Yeah.
I always think like that.
You know, there'll be strangers and friends that say things to you that are beautiful, that you never even noticed about yourself, which we talked about at the beginning. Accepting that comment.
That's right.
Right? Allow, to me, it's always source. It's always source communicating with me, saying, you're beautiful. Right?
You're beautiful.
Take it. And let that person be able to tell you, like, you know, I really appreciate your friendship. Right? I felt one of my local students that does my dance fitness, she just finishing all of her chemo and radiation from breast cancer, and she's doing great. Her hair is growing back, and she has such a positive outlook on life. And after class, she told me last week, and see, I feel emotion because it touched me so much. She said, do you know that this class saved my life when I was going through all of that? Because the joy that we have together in these classes of just dancing and moving and playing, this atmosphere of joy, and we're all very heart-based people that take the class, and we talk a lot about love and a lot about God and a lot about family. She said that really is what got her through it all, that she would come to class even on days she couldn't move because the chemo had her feeling a little sick. And I had to let her say that to me. And it was actually a lot to take in, that my little class she's saying it saved her life. And I'm looking at her going, you are the most amazing person that I've just watched go through breast cancer, have a mastectomy, have chemo, have radiation right after she had a knee replacement. And I'm so in awe of her positive attitude. And she's saying this back to me. And I really let myself receive it. I really let myself receive it. And I didn't say back to her, oh no, it was you that inspired me. I received it, and I said, thank you so much for saying that. And then I gave her the compliment. But, you know, those are the moments that are just so beautiful when you can really let somebody tell you that and receive it fully.
And I think that's what we signed up for in this life, isn't it?
Yeah.
To be contributors to others, to really be love and serve love. And then that love that you serve, it's coming back.
Yeah.
So please let it in, so it can cycle through. Yeah?
Yeah.
It's the yin and the yang of life.
And we have a lot of coaches and teachers and healers that's why we love inspiring you to take your message out, because you can touch so many people, or the mothers and the grandmothers, absolutely everyone.
And a piece of that equation to keep it expanding and flowing is to allow it in. And that's why showing up fully is one part of being of service, right? Don't hold back, don't shrink, show up fully. But showing up fully also, as the blossoming of that flower, means that people are going to come by and they're going to
smell you,
and they're going to take pictures of you, and they're going to love you because you're beautiful. Don't turn away and say, no, don't look. Say, yes, I'm here. And that's what completes the cycle, right? There must be a receiving of the love as much as there is a giving of the love. That's the message. And if I can just read what we said the episode would be about, we're going to land this plane. Check this out. The topic of this episode, number 2, is showing up fully no matter what the circumstances, no matter what your voices say or anybody else, and how to listen more closely to the guidance that life is giving you. And I'll close my part here is, because I meditated on this question. You know, we don't just show up and wing this stuff. It's always about purpose and being in alignment with our beautiful family here. That's you guys. And thank you for all the love that's coming through and all the messages.
We always go back and read the comments,
so
and we so appreciate it and the value that you bring. And if you're watching this on a replay, we go back and read all of those comments, and we see them at the time that you put them into the video, so we understand what you're commenting on.
Debbie says, my heart is bursting with gratitude and love for you. Aww. Thank you for the lessons. And so as we read that, which, oh my gosh.
Debbie's one of our Qigong instructors.
Thank you for sharing that love back. She just gave us the perfect opportunity to demonstrate. People are going to take a picture and send love and like let that in, and it goes right back.
Yeah.
Of course, you're seeing yourself, right? We're always seeing ourselves, but we are the same being in that sense. Love is love, right? So how to listen to those the guidance, right? We often will call it soul guidance. For me, it's connecting regularly, but first thing in the morning. I want to establish myself in a connection with love. Now, you can use whatever words you want. God, divine, source, doesn't matter. But there's a feeling when the connection happens. For me, there's this feeling of fulfillment, and I'm where I should be. When I'm in my head and I'm chasing things and I'm looking external first, nothing about going outside. Love going out and doing, but being. It's where I would say, TT, go home. Like E.T., he's pointing. TT, go home.
TT, so, Tristan Truscott.
Right here, go home. So I go home. I've been in slumber, and it's usually really beautiful, and I'm out cold. But when I get up in the morning, I want to get my head and heart connected. So meditation has been my lifeline to that love connection. And if I skip that, I'm too busy, got projects.
Yeah.
I will, my connection will wane, and I will get wonky. Now, if I connect deeply, that can carry me through the whole day of service. However, if I take little breaks, even in this mastermind that we're at, I did a little stretching in the back of the room, and I just sat on my knees for a moment, closed my eyes, and I just connect. I mean, you know what to do, right? Just connect, do your thing. I go in through here, and I feel this energy just flow through my being, and I remember the why. Why am I here in Atlanta today? Why am I on this Trisbrina show? Why am I in this relationship? It's all for love and love for all.
Yeah.
So connect.
Yeah, that's so beautiful when you embrace everything as a gift, right? Why didn't the laptop work? Why didn't the scheduled post work? Why didn't this? Why? I'm not sure. I don't have an answer, but I'm going with, because this is exactly the way it's supposed to be for us to go live at this exact time with these exact people who are watching it live, and the exact people watching it on the replay when they do, that it's part of this amazing, miraculous tapestry of how it's all woven together. And I do the same thing that Tristan does first thing in the morning. Instead of jumping into, like, the alarm goes off, oh, what's on the schedule today? You know, it's
Who's doing
let me just breathe for a moment, and I just try to breathe and say, thank you for a day, and just be quiet for a minute. And I, you know, there's 4 of us in our bed, Tristan and me, and our doggies, Winston and Bentley. And I try to touch all of them. Usually Bentley's touching my leg, and a lot of times Winston's on my head, and I reach for Tristan's hand. And I try to spend like 10 minutes just breathing with them and listening, because they usually all 3 are kind of snoring just really quietly.
Or loud.
And I just, I cherish that. And in that cherishing, I feel like I just become open to being more connected to the inspiration that's going to happen, and to the guidance system, and to insights that I wouldn't have had otherwise in the day if I had just gotten into the busy, what I thought I was going to do yesterday. Let each day be fresh from the universe. Like at the end of meditation, Tristan says you sit there like baked bread, right? How it rises and the loaf goes over the side. Well, every morning, just see that it's a new, fresh loaf of baked bread. You're not eating yesterday's bread. You get a new loaf every day, every moment.
I'm sitting here listening to this soul share, and as the sharing is happening, there's this love shower happening on the screen.
Love bombs.
And so in order to see, because it's little, I put my little readers on, and I see many of you.
You see everyone's little faces.
I see. This is really sweet. It's Sabrina's mom.
Aww.
And she's just showering her daughter with love. And how beautiful.
Because she's probably sitting with Winston and Bentley at home right now.
Maybe the puppies are doing it too. See? But when you see how love manifests, and not every parent has that relationship, or daughter, son, you know, but when you see it, it's a really profound thing. And so just witnessing that, and then I'm reading and seeing you guys are sharing some of the most beautiful things back with us, and I realized this is all a manifestation of intention. The intention, when Sabrina and I met, before we were actually Trisprina, but when we became Trisprina, I mean, this is an identity of this fusion here. It's just so sweet to hang out with my best friend. We had a pact. We said that every decision we make, as together, as friends, as souls, every decision we make, no matter where we are or what's going on, we're always going to choose love. Love over fear, love over worry, love over stress. We're going to choose love. It's why it's be love, serve love.
Because we found ourselves making decisions early on, and we had to always stop and say, wait, are we making that out of fear? Are we choosing that because we're afraid if we don't, this other thing might happen? And it comes from a different place. And I think a lot of us make decisions out of fear. I don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen. But can you also move towards love at the same time?
And so that's what I see on the screen, is extensions of that love. All of you, Nikki, Martin, Ben, Claudine, Rita, I mean...
Ingrid.
Yes, it's just all the sweethearts. Christine, Peggy, if I didn't say your name, you're included. You are...
Carol, Debbie.
An extension
Martin.
of that intention. That's why we're all here together. It's obviously why you're writing what you're writing. It's obviously why the Love Heart Showers are happening. Trevor. It's because we all want to show up fully, don't shrink, don't be small, and listen to that guidance and follow love.
This is really
beautiful.
Cool. Look.
And there we are, with you. Awesome. So that's episode number 2. We have some exciting things coming. We did say that we were going to announce, and we have our Happy Healthy Back program coming out very soon. It's basically ready with just a few little tweaks to make, and then that's an opportunity that some of you might really want to lean into. Super healthy, vibrant back, spine. We'll send you a link when it's ready, and you can learn all about that.
Yep.
Cool. Okay.
Here we go.
thank you again. And if you have like a big insight or a takeaway from today's share, something that touched your heart, something that moved you, something that like opened something up, you know, let us know how you feel about that. You know, let us know what your experience is as we're all journeying here together.
And if you haven't liked the page,
oh, the page. I think Facebook will allow us to
trying
say this.
to help you get reminders of when we go live. So if something gets messed up, you always get that notification. I'm sure there's some ways to do that.
When you first come on to watch a live, Facebook will tell you, hey, would you like to see these regularly? And there's a little button you can click. And even on this live session when it's over, you can go to like the settings.
Are you doing it in the air?
I'm doing it in the air. It's like over there. I always do that. I'm so physical. Anyway, there's a little thing over there, and it will give you the option of how often you want to hear from us and stuff like that. So
yeah, like see first.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called. Okay, much love. Thank you so very much for being in our lives.
We'll see you next week. Tune in next week.
Who knows where we'll be. Bye.